Developing overnight, the U.S. and Iran say they both launched new strikes at one another. This is new video from Iranian state media showing missile launches as both sides renewed fire. Now, 7 News is on your side. We have team coverage this morning. National correspondent Christine Frizzell is following the latest on a possible deal with Iran. But let's start with John Rogers at the alert desk. So, John, what are we learning about these latest strikes?
Well, let's talk about this. This comes as the shaky ceasefire continues. We learned the U.S. military conducted self-defense strikes in Iran over the weekend using fighter jets to target Iranian radar and drone sites throughout the country. Central Command says the strikes were done in response to aggressive Iranian actions, including the shoot down of a U.S. drone over international waters. No U.S. service members were harmed here. Meanwhile, the Iranian Revolutionary Guard Corps launched a retaliatory attack on an unnamed base in response to these strikes. They warned that their responses will be different if American strikes continue. There is no confirmation from the U.S. side as to whether any military assets had been struck or not.
All right, there are new reports that Iran's president has asked to resign. He reportedly told the Supreme Leader's office that he and his government have been excluded from major decision-making, leaving him unable to fulfill his responsibilities. As national correspondent Christine Frizzell reports, this all comes as the deal with Iran continues to be a back-and-forth battle.
The fragile space between a threat and a truce on full display once again, more than 90 days after the United States launched the initial attacks in Iran.
I'd like to say I'm in a hurry because, you know, gasoline prices are going to come tumbling down. But if you're going to be in a hurry, you're not going to make a good deal. And slowly but surely, we're getting, I think, what we want. And if we don't get what we want, we're going to end it a different way.
President Trump Friday sending amendments to a negotiated agreement in the form of a memorandum of understanding, which reportedly would have extended the current ceasefire 60 days. The U.S. would slowly lift its naval blockade, as well as some sanctions. And Iran would immediately reopen the Strait of Hormuz to commercial traffic, a term some doubt will happen.
I'm quite skeptical that we're at the brink of an agreement because the Iranians are not going to allow the strait to be turned back to the way it was before the war began. They're not going to return it to being an international waterway. It's going to be open, but it's going to be open under new management.
The president's tougher terms may mean even a preliminary deal is far off, as Democrats call the war overall a disaster.
Families and businesses are being ruined by gas prices. They're $6 a gallon in some places, but it's just been a humiliation for the United States, and it's made Iran more powerful.
Top Trump officials signaling progress and a clear vision.
They're coming in our direction. The talks have been productive. I think they know where it needs to go.
To finish the job means making sure that Strait of Hormuz is open, that we get the highly enriched uranium, and that Iran doesn't have a nuclear weapon. That is finishing the job.
And now Congress will have a chance to weigh in when lawmakers return to Capitol Hill this week. There is a vote scheduled on a war powers resolution, and it looks like there just may be enough Republicans who vote with Democrats to pass the bill and restrict the president's powers on Iran. I'm Christine Frizzell reporting.
Well, the White House's top economist says he expects oil shipments to resume through the Strait of Hormuz within a month or two. Kevin Hassett made that prediction on ABC's This Week after being asked about concerns over rising gas prices as a result of this war with Iran.
Look, in the end, people look at their wallets and they decide how to vote. And if they look at their wallets and look at how much money they have after, the increase in prices, they're going to find that they have a lot more money.
Well, the closure of the Strait of Hormuz has led to a disruption in global oil prices since energy facilities had to pause production. Here in our area, gas prices have come down a bit compared to this time last week. In Virginia, the average price for a gallon of regular is $4.16. Last week, it was $4.38. In D.C. right now, the average price is $4.59. Last week, it was $4.66. In Maryland right now, the average is $4.17. Last week, it was $4.41.